Good morning and welcome, my friends. Yes, another live edition of the Flipside coming your way on this Monday morning, a little after 7:43 Pacific Standard Time, on this March the 17th, also known as St. Paddy's Day, a unique global celebration where, unlike Martin Luther King Day, on St. Paddy's Day everybody claims to be Irish. And yes, they do celebrate St. Paddy's Day south of the border in Mexico. There are a few fine establishments in Rosarita Beach that are putting out all the fixings for St. Paddy's Day today, and there's no doubt in my mind I will be participating in some corned beef and cabbage at some point in time during the day. There are obviously a lot of concerns in the market this week, not because of any economic data, but rather because of the fact that we had this little issue taking place in the Ukraine. The financial news we are going to receive this week is pretty much housing starts related. We will also be getting a consumer price index, which nobody expects any major surprises there, and if there's a surprise, they will blame it on the weather. The big day where there could be some market movement is the rate decision we get from the Fed on Wednesday, together with initial jobless claims and existing home sales. We end the week on a bit of a whimper with leading economic indicators coming out on Thursday. What struck me this morning more than anything else is the lack of coverage that was given to a story that broke on Friday. And that was, we got to learn that the FDIC has sued five of the biggest banks in America. However, when you dig deeper into the story, you find that it's not only the usual suspects such as Bank of America, Citigroup, JP Morgan, but there's a whole plethora of smaller banks whose names are not known that have also been sued by the FDIC in the hopes that the FDIC can recover some of the losses it suffered due to the manipulation by these 10 banks in rigging the LIBOR rate. All these banks rigged the London Interbank LIBOR rate from August of 2007 to at least mid-2011, according to the FDIC's lawsuit. By submitting false estimates of their borrowing costs and to calculate LIBOR, the 16 banks fraudulently and collusively suppressed the LIBOR rate, and they did so specifically for their own advantage, alleging the FDIC suit. A Citigroup spokesman declined to comment on the allegation. 4 other banks, Barclays, Royal Bank of Scotland, UBS, Rabobank of the Netherlands, have previously paid a total of $3.6 billion to settle U.S. and European regulators' charges of rigging the LIBOR. They did this in order to avoid criminal convictions, which ultimately would have put them out of business, and was one of the reasons submitted by Eric Holder as to the reason why he didn't want to force criminal charges against HSBC Bank for blatant money laundering with drug cartels. Was his fear that should a conviction come down, because HSBC was the largest bank in the world, it had the potential to bring down the world's financial system. All in all, my friends, this does nothing more than simply confirm what we have been saying for many years about the extent of manipulation that takes place in all markets across the board, which is why we find ourselves in a unique time in history. I have no doubt in my mind that this whole Ukrainian affair is nothing more than a distraction for what ultimately we are going to have to come to grips with. And as I've mentioned on many occasions before, as espoused by Ergen van Greyes, that we are at the point where we will have to deal with going through a second reset, very similar to the reset we went through after World War I leading up to World War II. Need I remind you that a majority of the world's elite who gave speeches in Davos, Switzerland, a few weeks ago, all echoed a similar point, that they felt world conditions today were very similar to those conditions soon after World War I. What Black Swan is going to cause a reset? Well, my friends, your guess is as good as mine. However, I defer to those individuals who I have gained their respect over the years because of their intellect and analysis of current conditions compared to previous conditions. And that is, we have to prepare ourselves for an event that could happen in a relatively short space of time. In other words, the world could be completely different in a 24-hour period. It has happened before in many countries around the world. There's no reason to think that the U.S. is by any way, shape, or form immune from experiencing a similar situation. I don't profess to hold the crystal ball that can see into the future. However, what I hope these podcasts do is just give you a different perspective than what you are being fed by the mainstream media. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to add things onto my webpage at robbynole.com. Thanks to Spreaker.com, and that I'm starting to find many other commentators using Spreaker.com for the same reason I'm using it. And so whenever I find someone of interest, I will post it on my website to share with you. As as a matter of fact, on today's page, I have gone somewhat overboard, if you will, and have posted two such podcasts that I think deserve your attention. One by Doug Owen over at Blacklisted Radio. I've been a visitor to blacklistednews.com for quite a while, so I was pleasantly surprised to see that they are putting out a podcast. So you can find Doug Owen's podcast on my page. I also recommend you take a listen to Jim Sinclair's 30-minute interview where he answers the question, could the Russian economy collapse the U.S. economy? Alistair McLeod from Gold Money has an interesting perspective on the West's movement of its gold supplies to the east. And then I found another podcast that I thought you might find it of interest called Resurrect the Republic. And so you can find all of those on my website on this morning's edition of RobbieKnoll.com. I leave you with a quick reminder coming up this afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, on the micro effect. I'll be wrapping up the day's events, and as you know, they could be 180 degrees from where we are right now. As I leave you, the Dow is up 153 points. NASDAQ is up 40 points. Crude oil still above 100. And gold is sitting at $13.80. Well, my friends, that concludes today's AM edition of the Flipside. Till this afternoon.